breaking story, and it's a very serious one indeed. Several individuals have been killed on Friday night, tonight, when a man stabbed passers-by at random with a knife at a city festival in the western German city of Solingen. That's according to German newspaper Bild. Bild reported that the event occurred at around 9:45 p.m. local time. Witnesses said that the perpetrator is still at large, apparently, and local police said they were not able to comment on that yet. This is clearly a very, very concerning incident, and there's quite a lot of footage coming out about it which would appear to indicate that this is very serious indeed. Joining us now is our Home and Security Editor, Mark White. Mark, thank you very much. What do we know?
Well, we know that multiple people have been stabbed. There are reports of at least 3 people who have died. That has not been confirmed by the German authorities, but is being widely reported now in the German press. A number of other people stabbed and injured and being attended to by paramedics at the scene. Now, this was in Solingen, which is a western city in Germany. It's a reasonably small city, but it's near the larger cities of Düsseldorf and Cologne. It was a festival, we're told, that was celebrating the 650th anniversary of this city and also celebrating diversity in the city when, according again to reports, a single male, no reports of multiple attackers, but a man started randomly stabbing people in a central square in Solingen. That man has now disappeared. There is an active manhunt for this individual. Police helicopters, very significant policing resources that have been brought in to the central area of Solingen, and the authorities are telling people to stay at home, not to venture out, because of course this armed suspect, believed to still be armed with a knife, is out there. They don't know any more than that at this stage, but of course, as always with these incidents, Patrick, attention turns to the potential for this being a terrorist attack. It was certainly a random attack or an attack in a crowded place targeting multiple people. It absolutely fits the profile of what we've seen before in these targeted attacks where individuals have tried to kill and injure as many people as possible in crowded places.
No, indeed. And as far as we're aware at the moment, it appears that they have not managed to apprehend the individual involved, Mark. Is that right?
No, and that's the worrying aspect about this. Normally, of course, you will find that attackers can often stay around. I mean, depending on the ideology that's involved in an attack, quite often they want to be martyred. Some do disappear, and that makes it much more difficult for the police, the investigative services, to get a handle on exactly what's happened and what the danger to other people is, because as long as this person is at large, then clearly he poses a danger. So while that is the case, people are being, as I said, urged just to stay indoors, lock their doors, and not venture out onto the streets of this city. Lots of police resources now in a manhunt looking for this individual, in tandem, of course, with the paramedics, the emergency services who are dealing with multiple casualties, and some of them were told very seriously injured.
Yeah, indeed. So a massive search operation underway. And Mark, unfortunately, incidents like these appear to be becoming more and more common, don't they? We have to report on this stuff all too often now around mainland Europe and here in Britain. Obviously, we don't know the motive about this yet. I've got little to no description of an individual who may be responsible to this, and I certainly don't want to jump to conclusions. But these kind of mass marauding knife attacks are now a regular thing, unfortunately, aren't they?
Yes, I mean, quite frankly, the motivation, is one thing. What you have got is a mass stabbing attack, as you've said. Just as we saw in Southport, There, of course, there were these misleading reports on social media that pointed to this being an Islamist attack. It wasn't on that occasion, but it was an absolutely horrific incident targeting multiple people. And at the very least, this is an absolutely horrific incident targeting multiple people. It will, in the fullness of time, become apparent what the motivation of this individual was. But I can tell you that right across Europe, security services have been on heightened alert in recent months for the potential of Islamist attacks. They were particularly concerned around the Olympics in Paris. That thankfully passed off without major incident. You've got the paramedics of the Paralympics coming up in Paris as well, so some added concern about that. But Germany has seen a number of Islamist-related attacks over the last year that have targeted politicians and other people in crowded places there that have been Islamist inspired. So there is real concern. And as I say, we don't know who the individual was, what his motivation was. But of course, the police and security services will be working as hard as they can to try to identify what a potential motive was.
Yeah, and what do we know about the German police, Mark? I mean, are they always armed? Are they? They seem to be very, very quick at responding to this. I mean, the incident is believed to have happened at around 9:45 p.m. local time. As we understand it, they were there almost immediately. There were, unfortunately, at least 3 fatalities. That's being reported. It's believed that potentially as many as 9 people have been quite seriously injured in this. We're seeing footage here of police helicopters in the air. We're seeing a huge police response down there. It was at this festival of diversity, as you said, so perhaps there was already a police and emergency service presence there, as you would expect at any kind of large gathering. But how do the German police normally approach this kind of stuff?
Well, they are an armed police service, Patrick, but...
Festival of diversity. Honestly, you cannot make this stuff up. Just like he said, it's been happening all over Europe more and more often. And everyone knows who's doing it. Yet, in countries like Great Britain, even if you mention it, you're actually risking to be going to jail. That's what it comes down to. Like, it's absurd. It's some kind of delusion, insanity, derangement. I don't know what to call it. But everyone knows who's doing it. And yet, people are supposed to bury their head in the sand and pretend they don't understand and just play stupid. Like, I don't understand this. Like, what do you think is going to happen? This is only going to get worse and worse and worse. This is why we're seeing what we're seeing in Great Britain. Like, because people are not stupid. I mean, average person knows exactly who's doing it. And they're getting tired of it. They're getting tired of all those attacks. Because, like, this is not the first attack. That's what they're saying. That they seems to be reporting it more and more often. I mean, it happens all over Europe. I mean, just like a few weeks ago, they caught a few suspects, Islamist terrorists, who were planning attacks in Austria at Taylor Swift concert. Thank God they were caught. Imagine if they weren't. You're looking at possibly a couple 100,000 dead. And if you think that's not that easy, of course it is. Look what happened in France. The guy rented a truck, no explosives, nothing, just simply truck. And he killed 86 people. 86 people dead just by driving truck into them. And that's what they were planning to do. Renting a truck plus building bombs. And basically just driving into the crowd of people. So yeah, we're talking about 200 people at least. So thank God it was prevented. But the thing is, you cannot prevent all of them, right? So you have to start looking at the root of the problem. Not putting band-aids, not hoping you're going to catch them all, because you will not. It's impossible to catch them all. Because at the end of the day, this is a Western country, and until you actually do something, you're pretty much innocent. And unless you're actually sending texts and telling someone your plans and stuff, it's very hard to catch you. They're only gonna catch you once you actually do something, but then it's too late. So you have to start looking at the root of the problem. Who's doing it? Remember in like 60s, 70s, FBI came up with the whole, profiling. So why all of a sudden profiling is bad today? You profile, you figure out who more likely to do it. What is the person, like what are those people, all of them have in common? Like really? Stop being so politically correct. Everyone knows what they all have in common. So figure out and do something about it. Because if you not, people will protest. Okay? And honestly, there's going to be a civil war on the streets. Because people not going to just, average person, not going to just lay over and die. Like, they're not going to just let it happen. People want their countries back. Because most of them have families, they have kids, they have grandkids who they want to have a normal life, and they don't want this stuff anymore. Enough is enough. Anyway, I simply just wanted to share this video because I thought it was very interesting how this is just happening more and more often across Europe. Thank you. Have a good day.